Leslie, Kamani, it's time for chapter 2 in this book. Hopefully, you watched the video of chapter 1. Just a quick review, a quick summary of chapter 1. Marty goes up into the woods to shoot his rifle. Remember, he doesn't like shooting at animals or anything like that. He just wants to shoot at targets like apples and cans and stuff. Finds a beagle, a little beagle, finds a young beagle. How many times can I say beagle? Anyway, the beagle follows him home, and he knows he can't keep the dog, but he's worried that the dog is being abused. The dog stays by their house under a tree, and Marty calls him Shiloh. And so far, the characters we've met so far are Marty, Mom and Dad, Darylyn, Becky, and Shiloh. And we talked about describing characters, and there's two ways we can do it: physical traits and personality traits. Physical traits is just, age, how old they are, are they big? Are they small? What are they built like? And things like this. Do they have sisters? Are they poor? Are they rich? These are all physical traits. Where they live. Personality traits is the real important stuff. What they think and feel about things. Like we said here that Marty doesn't like hurting animals. Okay? And that's going to be important in the story. We're going to look at another character today, Judd. Judd Travers. We're going to describe him a little bit, and I promise you right now, you are not going to like Judd Travers. Okay, so let's get into chapter 2 here. So when we last left off, Shiloh's just sitting underneath a tree at their house, and he doesn't want to leave. Poor little dog. Sunday night supper is whatever's left from noon. If nothing's left over, Ma takes cold cornmeal mush, fries up big slabs, and we eat it with caro syrup. But this night there's still rabbit. I don't want any, but I know Shiloh does. I wonder how long I can keep pushing that piece of rabbit around my plate. Not very long, I discover. You going to eat that meat, or are you just playing with it? Dad asks. If you don't want it, I'll take it for lunch tomorrow. I'll eat it, I say. Don't you be giving it to that dog, says Ma. She knows what he's thinking, right? If you want to get rid of a dog, the worst thing you can do is feed the dog. He'll never want to leave. I take a tiny bite. What's the doggy going to eat then? Asks Becky. She's 3, which is 4 years younger than Darylyn. Nothing here, that's what, says Ma. Becky and Darylyn look at Dad. Now I had them feeling sorry for the beagle, too. Sometimes girl children get what they want easier than I do, but not this time. Dog's going right back across the river when we get through eating, says Dad. If that's Judd's new dog, he probably don't have sense enough yet to find his way home again. We'll put him in the Jeep and drive him over. Don't know what else I figured Dad to say. Do I really think he's going to tell me to wait till morning? And if the beagle's still there, we can keep him? I try all kinds of ways to figure how I could get that rabbit meat off my plate and into my pocket. But Ma's watching every move I make. So I excuse myself and go outside and over to the chicken coop. It's off toward the back where Ma can't see. We have 3 hens, and I take one of the 2 eggs that was in a nest and carry it out behind the bushes. I whistle softly, and Shiloh comes loping toward me. I crack the egg and empty it out in my hands. Hold my hands down low and Shiloh eats the egg, licking my hands clean afterward, then curling his tongue down between my fingers to get every little bit. Good boy, Shiloh, I whisper, and I stroke him all over. I hear the back screen slam, and Dad comes out on the stoop. Marty! Yeah, I go around, Shiloh at my heels. Let's take that dog home now. Dad goes over and opens the door of the Jeep, and Shiloh puts his tail between his legs and just stands there. So I go around to the other side, get in, and whistle. Shiloh leaps up onto my lap, but he don't look too happy about it. For the first time I have my arms around him. He feels warm. When I stroke him, I can feel places on his body where he has ticks. Dog has ticks, I tell my dad. Judd'll take 'em off, Dad says. What if he don't? It's his concern, Marty, not yours. It's not your dog. You keep to your own business. I press myself against the back of the seat as we start down our bumpy dirt driveway toward the road. I want to be a vet someday, I tell my dad. He says. I want to be a traveling vet, the kind that has his office in a van and goes around to people's homes. Don't make folks come to him. Read about it in a magazine at school. You know what you have to do to be a vet? Dad asks. Got to go to school, I know that. You got to have college training, like a doctor almost. Takes a lot of money to go to veterinary school. My dream sort of leaks out like water in a paper bag. I could be a veterinarian's helper, I suggest, my second choice. You maybe could, says Dad, and points the Jeep up the road into the hills. Dusk is settling in now, still warm though, a warm July night. Trees look dark against the red sky. Lights coming on in a house here, another one there. I'm thinking how in any one of these houses there's probably somebody who would take better care of Shiloh than Judd Travers would. How come this dog had to be his? All right, let's get to know Judd Travers. The reason I don't like Judd Travers is a whole lot of reasons. Not the least is that I was in the corner store once down in Friendly, and I saw Judd cheat Mr. Wallace at the cash register. Judd gives the man a 10 and gets him to talking. Then when Mr. Wallace gives him a change, he says he gave him a 20. I blink, like I can't believe Judd done that. Sorry, I lost my place. I blink, like I can't believe Judd done that. And old Mr. Wallace is all confused. So I say, no, I think he gave you a 10. Judd glares at me, whips out his wallet, and waves a $20 bill in front of my eye. Whose picture is whose picture's on this bill, boy? He says. I don't know. He gives me a look and says, I thought so. That's Andrew Jackson, he says. I had two of them in my wallet when I walked in here, and now I only got one. This here man's got the other, and I want my change. Mr. Wallace, he's so flustered, he just digs in his money drawer and gives Judd change for a 20. And afterward, I thought, what did Andrew Jackson have to do with it? Judd's so fast talking, he can get away with anything. Don't know anybody who likes him much, but around here, folks keep to their own business, like Dad says. In Tyler County, that's important, the way it's always been, anyhow. So let's get right away something about Judd. We can get a personality trait. Um, he can be dishonest because he cheated the store owner out of money. He gave him $10 and he acted like he gave him 20 so he could get more change back. So that's a dishonest thing to do. So that's something about it. That's a personality trait, dishonest. Let's see why else he doesn't like him. Another reason I don't like Judd Travers is he spits tobacco out the corner of his mouth. And if he don't like you, and he sure don't like me, he sees just how close he can spit to where you're standing. Third reason I don't like him is because he was at the fairgrounds last year, same day we were, and seemed like every place I was, he was in front of me, blocking my view, standing in front of me at the mud bog, sitting in front of me at the tractor pull, and rising up right out of his seat at the Jordan Globe of Death motorcycle act, so as I missed the best part. The fourth reason I don't like him is because he kills deer out of season. He says he don't, but I seen him once just about dusk with a young buck strapped over the hood of his truck. He tells me that the buck run in front of him on the road and he accidentally run it over, but I saw the bullet hole myself. If he got caught, he'd have to pay $200, more than he's got in the bank, I'll bet. So it says he doesn't like him because he kills deer out of season. See, you have to understand there's laws for hunting deer, and there's only a certain time of year that you can do it, and that's called deer season. And if you hunt them when it's not deer season, you can get in trouble because it's against the law. So you can only hunt and kill deer at a certain time of year, called deer season. I guess it's to keep people from killing too many of them or something like that. But yeah, he kills deer out of season, and that's against the law. And it said he saw him with a buck strapped to his car once, to his truck. A buck is a deer, right? A doe is a female deer, and a buck is a male deer. So that's what that's all about. We're in Shiloh now. Dad's crossing the bridge by the old abandoned grist mill, turning at the boarded up school, and for the first time I can feel Shiloh's body begin to shake. He's trembling all over. I swallow and try to say something to my dad and have to swallow again. How do you go about reporting someone who don't take care of his dogs right? I asked finally. Who are you fixing to report, Marty? Judd. If this dog's mistreated, he's only about one of out of 50,000 animals, that is, Dad says. Folks even bring him up here to the hills and let him out. Afraid they can live on rats and rabbits. Wouldn't be the first dog that wasn't treated right. But this one come to me to help him, I insist. Knew that's why he was following me. I got hooked on him, Dad, and I want to know he's treated right. For the first time, I can tell Dad's getting impatient with me. Now you get that out of your head right now. If it's Travers's dog, it's no mind of ours how he treats it. What if it was a child asking, getting too smart for my own good? If some kid was shaking like this dog is shaking, you wouldn't feel no pull for keeping an eye on him. Marty, Dad says, and now his voice just sounds plumb tired. This here is a dog, not a child, and it's not our dog. I want you to quit going on about it, you hear? I shut up then. Let my hands run over Shiloh's body, like maybe everywhere I touch I could protect him somehow. We're getting closer to the trailer where Judd lives with his other dogs, and already they're barking up a storm, hearing Dad's Jeep come up the road. Dad pulls over. You want to let him out, he says. I shake my head hard. I'm not letting him out here until I know for sure he belongs to Judd. I'm asking for a slap in the face. But Dad don't say anything, just gets out and goes up the boards Judd has laid out in place of a sidewalk. Judd's at the door of his trailer already in his undershirt, peering out. Looks like Ray Preston, he says, through the screen. How you doing, Judd? Judd comes out on the little porch he's built at the side of his trailer, and they stand there and talk a while. Up here in the hills, you hardly ever get down to business right off. First you say your howdies, and then you talk about anything else but what you come for. And finally, when the mosquitoes start to bite, you say what's on your mind. But you always edge into it, not to offend. I can hear little bits and pieces floating out over the yard. The rain, the truck, the tomatoes, the price of gasoline, and all the while Shiloh lays low in my lap, tail between his legs, shaking like a window blind in a breeze. And then the awful words. Say, Judd, my boy was up here along the river this afternoon, and a beagle followed him home. Don't have any tags on his collar, but I'm remembering you got yourself another hunting dog, and wondered if he might be yours. Sorry, maybe I need it. I'm thinking this is a bad mistake. Maybe it isn't Judd's at all, and he's such a liar he'd say it was just to get himself still another animal to be mean to. Judd hardly lets him finish and starts off across the muddy yard in his boots. Sure bet it is, he says. Can't keep that coon dog home to save my soul. Every time I take him hunting, he runs off before I'm through. I've been out there all day with the dogs. They all come back but him. I can hear Judd's heavy footsteps coming around the side of the Jeep, and I can smell his chewing tobacco, strong as coffee. Yep, he says, thrusting his face in the open window. That's him, all right. He opens the door. Get down there, he says, and before I can give the dog one last pat, Shiloh leaps off my lap onto the ground and connects with Judd's right boot. He yelps and runs off behind the trailer, tail tucked down, belly to the ground. All Judd's dogs chained out back bark like crazy. I jump out of the Jeep too. Please don't kick him like that, I say. Some dogs just like to run. He runs all over creation, Judd says. I can tell he's studying me in the dark, trying to figure what's it to me. I'll keep an eye out for him, I say. Anytime I see him away from home, I'll bring him back. I promise. Just don't kick him. Judd only growls. He could be a fine hunting dog, but he tries my patience. I'll leave him be tonight, but he wanders off again, I'll whoop the daylights out of him. Guarantee you that. I swallow and swallow, and all the way home, I can't speak a word, trying to hold the tears back. So we have found out it is, yes, in fact, Judd's dog, and he's very mean to his dog. So you can only imagine how horrible Marty feels. He feels like this dog came to him, for safety, and there he is bringing him on back to Judd to be kicked again. So let's think. Um, we could say Judd likes to hunt. Personality trait, physical traits. Would it be a physical trait to say he's mean to his dogs, or personality trait? We'll say personality trait, mean to his dogs. At least we saw him be mean to Shiloh, giving him a kick like that, right? Okay. So we know that Judd's dishonest, likes to hunt, mean to his dogs. As far as physical traits, I mean, we could say he's a man, he's a grown up, lives in West Virginia, all that stuff, but it's kind of like, yeah, we know that. It's not really worth mentioning, I don't think. The personality traits is really worth mentioning, though. That's what's going to be important in the story, right? So we'll remember that, okay? All right, so be on the lookout for assignments and things in Seesaw that you might have to do, maybe having to do with finding theme or character traits. Theme. I wonder what themes could we be thinking about right now in this book. Keep that in mind. What themes could we talk about maybe when it comes to this book? Just keep that in your mind. What messages, as a writer, Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, what messages is she trying to get across to us here? All right, let's keep that in mind.